Well, here we are. This is third time lucky here with my mate Peter Kelly,
Yep.
aka Puka.
Yep, that's correct.
I've known of you for a long time. We're sort of similar age, similar era, similar time frame of tattooing. You're Sydney, I'm Melbourne, but thankfully we've developed a good friendship over the years.
Yep.
So it's going to be nice to go down memory lane with you, talk shit, talk inspiration, talk all of the good stuff, and sort of go from there and see where we end up, which I'm sure will be good. So to start off, where did you grow up?
I was born in Wauchope, up near Port Macquarie.
Yep, nice.
And moved down to Camden, out the west, and
Yep.
grew up there, and moved to Campbelltown when I was about probably 18, and
Yeah, nice.
started.
What
out
was Seatown like back then?
there. It was it was
Still
pretty,
like a developing
yeah,
housing estate
yeah,
area
it
and
was,
stuff?
Yeah, pretty quiet, and
Yeah,
before all the riffraff come in, and
yeah.
yeah,
But riffraffs, that's where it's at, mate.
yeah, yep,
Like I grew up in a similar area in an area northern suburbs of Melbourne called Mill Park, and like it was the best, riding dirt bikes,
yeah, yep,
being a rat bag, hanging out at local shops, seeing dudes with tattoos,
yeah.
dudes driving Monaros or GTs, mullets, arm out the window, a couple of sticker tats all over them.
Yeah.
Cold chisel on the airways, 3XY, or no, it was a Triple M.
Yeah.
A good era. What are some of your first memories of tattoos?
My older brother, he used to come in, and I think he was like just 18.
How much older?
He's 6.
Yep.
Yeah, 6, 7 years older, the middle
cool.
brother, and he used to come into sleep.
Where are you in the family tree?
Youngest.
Yep.
Yeah, so got my older sister and 2 older brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, but he used to come in and get tattooed off Greg and all the boys in there.
What, in the cross?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so he'd...
Didn't he get some crazy tattoo from
Yeah,
Greg?
the old grandma with the pants coming down and pus and she's hanging the finger with eat my
Where on
pus
his body?
on his arm. Like,
Oh, that's so crazy, man, back then. Like, people were just up for anything.
yeah,
Way more than I think today.
yeah,
Today it's pretty tame.
yeah,
Because I don't know, but I know from my upbringing, like tattoos were pretty shocking to the general public back then.
yeah,
I imagine the same for
yeah,
you.
yeah. Like, plus, like my old man, he had a couple, and
Yep.
he had like a ship on his forearm. And
Who
so-
did them? Do you know?
No, I'm not too sure. So he never really
Yeah.
spoke about them. But I got one, like the old Sailor Jerry girl playing the ukulele. I got one on the side of my leg.
For him?
Same,
Yeah,
same
awesome.
one that he had. So
Yeah, good. So you seen your brother getting tattooed?
yeah, yep.
Were you doing any sort of artwork?
Yeah.
What was the deal?
Used to just draw on like TV weekly magazines, like blacking out the teeth and giving black eyes. And
yeah.
draw BSA,
Sunglasses.
Yeah, BSA
Hairdos.
symbols on my wall and Triumph logos.
Would it be fair to say you were like into art at school? Were you good at art at school?
Yeah, always.
Because I know you had a promising career as an Olympic long distance marathon runner.
Yeah.
You were like Robert De Castella's protege at one point.
Yeah. Oh, no, who was Cliff?
Oh, Cliffy Young.
Yeah, Cliffy Young, more hands by the side.
Mate, we were talking about that the other day. He was 63 when he won. Was it the Melbourne to Sydney?
No, yeah, Sydney to Melbourne.
Sydney to Melbourne marathon. And he was just this mad old cow farmer.
Yeah. Well, they used to run behind our primary school. And
Really?
One year, like, we were allowed to run to the fence and watch him friggin' go over MacArthur Bridge.
So you actually saw him?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you, who was the Greek guy? Was it Yanos Kouros? It was some Greek guy who was like the king that used to do it. I think he looked a bit like Freddie Mercury, little white singlet and everything. But apparently someone was saying the other day Cliff Young like carved like 10 hours off that record.
Wow.
Because they would normally run and stop and sleep. I think Cliff Young ran for 3 days straight. Like,
Jesus
and
Christ.
then became famous, and then I think had a 22-year-old girlfriend all of a sudden. Go Cliff.
Yeah, God love him.
So I know we deviated, but with that, so What were you like as a young kid? Like, you obviously drawing. What do you do? Are you listening to Metallica? Are you listening to Spandau Ballet?
No, it
You
was-
listening to Culture Club? Were you
Yeah.
an emo? What were you
Yeah,
doing? Like,
bit of
you know,
everything,
what?
yeah, it
Well,
was-
you, yeah,
My brothers listened to like Led Zeppelin and
Yep.
Status Quo, all them sort of.
yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, but
So
just-
they were obviously a big influence on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where my brother's mate, like Hooter, his name was.
Yep.
He was ambidextrous, so yeah, he could tattoo.
So was he tattooing in a shop?
No, he was just at home, and like my brothers, they all ended up going to jail, and
Yep.
yeah, he was tattooing in jail. Then
Right.
yeah, come out and just tattooing at home, and then that's where I got my first one from him. I rode me push bike from home to his place. Got
School
one.
uniform?
Yeah, yeah. And I was that little, like I just sat there, and the armrest was his knee.
Yep. Yep.
And then remember like passing out, and he was still just ripping into me, and
Mate, it's so crazy back then. Like, I got tattooed at 15 and I definitely looked about 11.
yeah,
You know,
I
it's
was
it's
the
so
same.
mental. You know, and then, like, I remember when I was about 20 working with this guy called Rotten Ronnie, who was maybe about 15 years old, probably mid-30s and maybe 40 at the most. And he was telling me he got tattooed by, like, Gary Davis and,
wow,
you know, and Tex back in Flinders Street in Melbourne when he was like 12,
fucking hell.
you know, mentor. And I remember he showed me he had hinges on the inside and a spider web. Because he got him tattooed that young, he then had a growth spurt and grew.
Yeah.
So the center of the hinge and the center of the spider was about an inch down. And unless he pointed it out, you wouldn't see it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
was like, holy fuck. You know, but back then I think it's actually crazy to think that people are getting tattooed that young now.
Yeah,
Like, you know, now working in a shop and running shops and everything, it's strict as.
yeah,
You know, even, and this is where you know you're getting old. Like, I'll go to our manager every now and then, like, can you just check them for ID?
yeah,
Then you realise maybe I'm getting older,
yeah.
you know. So, who did your next tattoo after Hooter?
Nelson, when he was at Dutchies at Liverpool, just across from the railway
Yep.
hotel, and
How did Nelson come on the horizon?
I moved to Lanier,
Yep.
just outside of Liverpool with a few mates, and then
At what, 18, 19, 20-ish?
it was like 15.
Straight out of home
Yeah,
early.
Oh no, it's about 16, I'd say.
Yeah.
So yeah, then rode me skateboard in.
So what, you're living out of home?
Yeah, yeah.
At
it
that
was,
age?
Yeah, it was on like the living away from home
Home
allowance. And
Amazing.
got me first pay, and I was boom skateboard straight to Dutchies.
What were you doing for work then?
No, nothing. No,
Oh, nothing.
No, we're
Oh,
all
just off
bums,
the old
yeah.
what was it, the old Johnny Howard?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Must have been pretty cool living at home, living out of home at that age with
Yeah.
your mates. I imagine it was just like,
it was,
Parties?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
wild.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like there was a couple of older ones,
yeah,
and then me and my other mate. So
Yep.
they had the cars, so we were sweet. Yeah,
but yeah, I was probably the same. We used to hang out with dudes that were older than us.
Yeah.
Someone had a car, and you know, you're off.
Yeah.
That was probably like adventure,
yeah, yeah.
or the guys that could get you out of the area. Or were you coming into the city then?
Oh
Were
yeah,
you
that's we'd
going
do,
into the cross,
My mate had like an old X.
checking out the hookers.
Yeah, XU. We'd drive in here because they were old enough, so
Yep.
we'd just tag along, go to the strip clubs, like right next the one show Stripperama or something
Yep.
next to Sleeve Masters.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'd like look in the shop and then go in the strip clubs and like sit in the alleys like waiting for them to come down. And
Man, it's crazy how much like Sydney's nightlife has changed.
yeah,
eh?
yeah,
You know, like I remember going to the cross at about 18, driving up from Melbourne, driving to Brisbane, and like going, "Whoa, this is wild."
yeah,
It was like a step up from Melbourne.
yeah,
You know, like the nightclub scene there anyway, and it was like, "Fuck, man, this is mental."
yeah.
And now it's unfortunately like a ghost town.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think last time I went was with you and Kit
Yeah.
when we went for dinner. And
Yeah, and went and saw Rocky.
yeah,
You know, so with all that, back to Nelson, because you and Nelson have got a bit of a long history. So you're just living out that area. You rocked up to Dutchy, and had you heard of Nelson before, or he was just the guy you walked in the shop and went? Why did you know of Dutchy's shop? Was it just
No, that was the only one pretty much in the area. So just went in and he was tattooing. It was still like the blue like glass jar with all the machines in it, and he was tattooing, and he still had like his beard and stuff, and then his real heavy accent.
Because he would have, like, was he like a South American Ned Kelly with a ponytail or something like that?
100%, yeah. South American outlaw.
Pretty, yeah.
And then I walked in and he's like, "Oh, what do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, I want that skull." He's like, "No, you get that one." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Why did he obviously ran out of that stencil that day or
probably.
something?
And it was like a genie, but then it ended up like years later. I looked at it, I was like, "Fuck, that looks like you, Nelson."
Wow.
Yeah, had like this big wispy.
I know that one coming out of the little pot.
Yeah,
that was a classic design. Someone should be bringing that bad boy back.
Yeah.
If any trad dudes are out listening and you don't know what that genie is, you got to do your research. Because I knew two mates that had that.
Oh yeah.
It was good with the turban on his head, and you know.
Yeah. I think didn't Tony Ranger done something similar?
He did a modern version back then. Yeah, he did the modern version.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of Tony Ranger, man, like that flash in that time, like changed tattooing big time.
100%.
You know, it would have been what, early 90s, early mid 90s.
Yeah.
No, early 90s.
I think was it the Dead Kellys first?
I think Dead Kellys was. It was Dead Kelly, but I know Gary Davis did a Ned Kelly sheet, and so did.
Were they the ones? They looked like they had the garbage.
Yeah,
bins.
There was some bad ones, but Tony had some. Tony had the best.
Yeah, there was
Who
one.
Was the other dude? It was
guns.
Eddie that used to work in Cairns. He just passed away a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't. His name will come to me anyway. But
Is
he
it
did.
Eddie James.
Eddie James. Yeah. So him and Tony were probably the most proficient Aussie flash drawers of that time, and both sort of connected because Tony worked for Brano, and Eddie worked for Dwayne Cash, and Dwayne and Paul were great mates.
Yeah.
So you know, but they both pioneered that new Aussie flash and powered it through, and you know, Tony Ranger obviously had that cartoony style as well, but also the full Dungeons and Dragons craziness.
Yeah.
You know, we all paid our rent off that
for sure.
for a long time.
Yeah.
You know.
I actually seen one come into the shop last week and he said I'd done it like 20 years ago and it was that one of the skulls with like the big fangs and
How cool is it? But like we're at that stage in our careers and lives where you see old stuff coming back.
Yeah.
It's super cool, isn't it? You know, I saw on Lau Hardy's page the other day, he put up a post of some dude just pulled him over in a servo and goes, "Hey Lau, hey, do you remember doing this?" And ripped his arm up, and it was like a big head of Bruce Lee with like a small like Bruce Lee's body on it, like ready to fight. He's just like, it's fucking crazy. You do so many tattoos, and you forget them, but they'll always remember you.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So you got your tattoo from Nelson.
Yep.
What happened after that? How did you even start to think that you could tattoo? Did Huda open the door for you, or how did it start?
Like I sort of like looking at how he was making homemade machines, and so me and the mates ended up making one, and it was sort of trial and error.
What, like homemade stuff?
Yeah, just slot car motor.
Yep.
Get a fork, bend it, and art line pens. Sort of get a inside of a biro pen, blow the middle, like the ink out, put a matchstick in with, jam a sewing needle in, and
like a button.
Yeah. Or we'd get like a little pin and a bread clip, and sort of like araldite that onto the slot car motor to offset.
Yeah. What were you using for a needle? Just like a sewing needle?
Yeah, just so we'd go to like the haberdashery store and get a packet of sewing needles. And
what ink?
Rote ring.
Rote ring,
yeah.
Yeah, that was the one, the little thing, little bottle.
But we'd sit it, because I seen who to do it too. He'd sit it on the windowsill.
In the sun?
Yeah, and the clear liquid that'd separate, and then he'd just go take it out and squeeze most of that liquid out and thicken it up a bit. So,
did you ever boil down ink?
No.
Boil down black ink. So I learned it in Amsterdam. You'd get a normal big pot of water.
Yeah.
And then you'd put a smaller pot in that pot of water. You'd pour in your talons or whatever you were using. The secret's out of the bag anyway. So, and then you'd just boil it down, same thing, so it would separate or evaporate really. Yeah. And you'd boil it down about a quarter of it off, and same thing, it would like thicken it up, more concentrated.
Yeah, yeah.
Modern day dynamic triple black.
Yeah.
You know. So what were you doing? Just blasting people out of the house you were living in?
Parties and fucking tattoo the mates till all hours.
Where were you getting your design sheets from, or were you drawing them?
Yeah, just drawing them and
were you
tattoo
putting them in
mags
some sort of formula on an A3 sheet or something?
No, just I had like a little drawing book and sort of, but mainly just draw it straight on with biro and
sick.
Yeah, go for it and and then but before
what was your minimum charge?
Oh, probably fucking. It was fucking 20 a week. And a few beers.
Yep.
Yeah, just party
totally.
on. And
I imagine I was sort of similar age as well. Like young kids were just throwing arms and legs at me. I imagine it was the same for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
From then, what was the next step?
After that, I was just still tattooing at home. Then
going to school or working?
Yeah, I ended up leaving school year 9.
Yep.
And I was just bumming around, just fucking loving life, just partying. And then one of my best friends, she was my next door neighbour.
Yep.
And she ended up hooking up with Al Mitchell, and then sort of through that's where. Plus Al grew up with my older brothers, so it was like a little, like we all knew each other, and then he looked at some of my drawings and he offered me a start with him. And
awesome. So because at your wedding I was on a table with Al and his wife, so they've obviously both been big parts of your life. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And where was that shop that you started with
that
Al?
was at Camden. It was called Physical Graffiti.
Yep.
But he was at Picton before that.
Yep.
Then that closed down.
How long were you there for? Because I saw photos of that shop and it was cool as fuck.
Yeah. One actually come up in my memories today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on Facebook. So
amazing.
Yeah. But I was there. I started about in 94 and probably 4 years, I'd say.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but it was a proper old school apprenticeship. We weren't allowed to tattoo.
Yep.
And then, sort of time went on, making needles.
So what, first year you're just cleaning the shop?
Oh, yeah, it was
opening the shop?
2, 3 years of sort of...
Mate, no one would last that these days.
Where I had to sort of open the shop at 11 with him, make needles, do the day, finish about 5, 6.
Yep.
Go home, have some dinner, then have a sleep, then start. I was packing fertiliser at Grow Mix at Leppington.
Yep.
Yeah, do that from midnight till 5 in the morning.
Yep.
Come home, have a sleep.
Fair play.
Bang, up for work again.
Yep. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
It was wild.
What was it? Was it just L tattooing from that shop?
Yeah.
What was like the clientele? Just working class local crew?
Yeah, he already had sort of a following.
Because great artist and still great artist.
Yeah.
Still painting, still passionate.
Yeah. And then once I started doing the first tattoo I done was like the Tassie Devil in the Whirlwind.
Mate.
Yeah, all little ones like that. Like redrew all the flash, the stencils in the filing cabinet, and they're already done, but you still got to do them all again. And
I was thinking the other day, like the Tassie Devil with the beer jugs, everything like that. Do you ever remember seeing the stickers that someone put out in the tattoo industry? And it was the Tassie Devil with like the no line, the red circle through it.
Yeah.
And it was like people are just saying, I'm not doing, like probably like people are referring to pocket watches now.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any more pocket watches. There was like a whole movement of fuck the Tassie Devil.
Yeah.
People did so many of them.
Yeah.
But that was, probably where tattooing started to change as well. Different imagery, cartoons. Remember Yosemite Sam back off on the back of the wheel, wheel covers on the cars.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that could have been one of Al's first ever tattoos.
There you
Yosemite,
go. Yeah, mate, totally. Well, he was the outlaw of the cartoon world.
Yeah.
So Thumper the Rabbit.
Yeah.
Bambi.
Yeah.
There was
what was I can't remember what
Tweety.
shot. But when the coyote had the
Roadrunner
bending him over, you fucker or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so much like suggestive, crazy fucking shit used to get done tattoo-wise.
Yeah.
And I know people think they're maybe pushing the boundary now with all the hyper-realistic porno stuff, but I don't know. I think back then it was still pretty raw and wild.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff. So you're at Physical Graffiti. You started tattooing.
Yeah.
I look through all your old photo albums, your early designs. For me, you rose really early. You got really good really quick. And I imagine a lot of that is to do from being under Al.
Yep.
All those years of drawing and obviously dedication.
Yeah. And around sort of probably, I think it was, just before that shop closed, Al went to, I think it was Melbourne and got tattooed from Paul Jeffries.
Yep.
And
that was about 95, maybe.
Yeah. And that sort of just changed. And that's how I sort of got to know, Trevor.
Yep.
Yeah, and sort of started, looking at his stuff just in tattoo mags. And you couldn't check stuff out back then. And
you used to wait once a month at the newsagents.
Yeah.
You couldn't even, there was nothing, there were no subscriptions.
Yeah.
You had
Plus,
to
Al had all Paul's, flash and everything.
Well, that flash was some of the most famous flash in the world back then.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe Paul Jeffries, Australia was Tony Ranger, Eddie James, then probably the Leo Zulueta, the tribal stuff. Remember and Celtic work?
Yeah, and when Guy Atchison and Eddie Deutsch and I think Jill Jordan, they all done them wild friggin' things. And
it was that's when tattooing was, from that I think was a big change. The late 80s, early 90s was like yourself started coming into the industry. I think you had, probably Guns N' Roses, Skid Row, people on the TV screen, MTV, covered in tattoos, started changing everything and opening it up more to more people than just the working class knockabout crew that, I was saying to a guy the other day, when I first started to tattoo, I got told you can't tattoo a girl on the arm. If you do, you're sacked.
Oh, yeah.
This was in Melbourne because it was mate, it's just going to draw too much heat. You just can't do it. Tits and ass is fine, but the arm is no.
Yeah.
Was that similar for you?
Yeah, yeah.
You used to think you had to sort of almost save people from themselves.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, with all of that, after, where'd you, so obviously you've got heavy influence from Al. Al's obviously a couple of years ahead of you. He's guiding you. You've discovered Paul Jeffries, Trevor, all this sort of stuff. Where did you go to after Physical Graffiti?
I went to Campbelltown.
Yep.
And that was called Penetration.
Like a brand new shop opening?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And that's where sort of, it's like Stephen King. He used to have the House of Pain.
Kingy.
And like Scotty and all that sort of.
All working from that shop?
Yeah. Well, Kingy was mates with Fudge and Jimbo. And, that sort of started there for a couple of years. And then that's when I started sort of coming into Sydney and hanging out at the House of Pain. And, first.
Where you got tattooed from Trev?
Yeah, first got to meet Trevor there.
Cool.
And got the back of me calf done. And, sort of, that was wild. You'd listen to Rose Tattoo, friggin' warming up out the back, practicing.
Mate, wild,
Open up drawers and it was just a party. It was wild.
Well, back then, what shops do you remember being around then?
Probably Illustrated Man, Sleeve Masters.
Yep.
I think Wally Hammond down there.
Yep.
That big glass.
Safe Tattooing. Not Wally. Bob.
Bob, yeah.
Bob, yep.
Max's.
I think Cliff might have been around
Yeah,
there. Innovision 95. I think they opened up. Newtown, Kiwi Kim, maybe.
Yeah, I think she was sort of just.
And then probably House of Pain, maybe Kaleidoscope.
Yeah, yep.
But apart from that,
And
so
then
that
Dutchies out our way before that.
So you can probably say, it might be fair to say, mid-90s, there were 20 tattoo shops in the greater Sydney area.
Yeah.
That'd mental.
That'd be maximum.
Yeah. And out of that, it was probably Sleeve Masters or Illustrated Man would have had the biggest crews.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe 4 chairs in a shop.
Yeah.
You know, far different to where it's at today, isn't it? It's mental. So that's mid-90s. What's that? 30 years?
Yeah.
It's just fucking exploded.
Yeah.
You know. And I think you would have heard back then as well that, it's drying up. It's over.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's saying now.
Yeah.
You know.
It goes through the waves. And
Yeah. So then you get tattooed by Trev. Where was Nelson around that time? Or when did you reconnect with Nelson?
It weren't until, probably at least 10 years.
Yep.
And that's when...
Had you bumped into him over the years?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, like Penetration, that was like bikie shops, so that got sold off to another.
Yep.
Then it changed.
Another team?
Tombstone.
Yep.
And Tombstone ended up...
Did Little Mick, who did the...
Yeah.
Tombstone was really cool.
Yeah, he had one at Cronulla.
Yes,
So then he took that one over.
Yep.
At Campbelltown, changed that to Tombstone. Like a few boys come out there.
Yep.
And that was
so back then as well, who were, like I know for me who the big names were, but who were the big names for you back then, tattooing?
Probably Cliff.
Yep.
Yeah, he like more just that Jap style and like Tony Cohen, Greg, like Jeff, all the boys at the cross and
What about other Australia-wide, like Trevor?
Oh yeah, Trevor. Then like Paul Braniff, and it weren't because there was no sort of internet, so you'd have to, like you said before, wait until the mags come out, and then you were.
Little Mick High Energy always had the back page on Australian Tattoo, you know, with the 4 pictures.
Yeah.
And, you know, like now the grapevine is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was no internet, no mobile phone, no Instagram. Like, so the only way you would find out if someone had left the shop and moved somewhere else was maybe like some sort of column in one of the tattoo mags that said who's moved around or like an advertisement in a magazine.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
Lift to Ride or something. You'd see a tattoo show in the chicks with their
tits
cans
out.
out.
Yeah, mate, it was normal. You know, drinking a Bundy rum can on the back of a Harley, eating a hot dog hanging from a string. Like, mental. But that's like, as well back then, there weren't, like, what could you be growing up? Like, you could be maybe into skateboards.
Yeah.
BMX,
well, I was playing
sport,
rugby league and
music, rugby league.
Yeah.
And then what? Maybe cars, motorbikes, and tattoos. So there's what, maybe 10 groups that you could align yourself with. So where now there's like hundreds.
Yeah.
You know. So it was very different, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
You know? So with all of that, like, what was the first ever tattoo show you went to?
The old Lone Wolf. Yeah, the one that used to be out Bringelly. I used to go to that every year. And
why are you smiling?
No, it was just, it was wild. Yeah, that's sort of, like I remember seeing Nelson out there one year, and it was, I think he won like the lucky door prize, and it was like I think he won a gun or something. It was crazy.
Obviously registered.
Yeah. Yeah. Registered, like handed down through the registry.
Yep.
Yeah, but just used to love, like I was tattooing, but
Yep.
sort of just going out to party and just look.
So you touched on it before, like growing up out there, it was like a lot of clubs.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously, you know, the famous unfortunate thing back then was the Milperra massacre.
Yeah.
Like, I know Melbourne growing up, like where I grew up, we had, I think the clubhouse near us was Black Ewlands.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you'd regularly see dudes just fucking blasting around, soft tail Springer, ape hangers, fucking jacket, mad hairdo, and just be like, I think La Bamba had just come out as well. So it was like, wow, I just saw a real life movie star.
Richie Valens just cruised past.
But it was normal. It was like, you know, it was nothing to see a GT Falcon. I think hot cars and bikes back then were maybe more on the road than they are today.
Yeah.
You know, so would that have been fair to say out your way?
Yeah, for sure.
Not uncommon to see a pack of dudes on Harleys fucking hauling ass up the street.
Yeah, they were everywhere. And like
drinking in the pubs and like, whoa.
Yeah. Like me brothers and his their mates had like Hooter had a Charger with a 360 in it, just off its head. And,
it was fully worked.
Yeah. Then Kim, Al's partner, wife, her brother, he used to have an XW GT, and we just cruise down Wollongong, go to like Nowra Air Base, and just carry on and come out, like drink beers all day, then drive it home, and it was fucking wild days.
Yeah, different time, man. Like, very fortunate to grow up in that era.
Yeah,
you know, like there would have been like in Melbourne, we used to go to like Truck City out near Campbellfield.
Yep.
Where the Ford factory used to be, and that's where all the illegal street racing used to be.
Yep.
So you'd be out there in these new streets getting made and everything, and then all of a sudden you'd just see like the blue and red light in the distance, and then everyone's in the cars and just fucking off.
Yeah.
You know, was there anything like that out your way?
Yeah, like pretty much because it was still sort of country, so you'd go out like near Oran Park.
Yep.
Next to Oran Park, there was like sort of this old
someone
road.
might accidentally drop some oil on the road.
Yeah. Or a little bit of brake fluid on your back tire. And,
hey, you got to do what you got to do. If you don't have the big cubes and you want to spin them wheels. So would that be like, why are you a Ford man?
I just, grew up, like, probably because Kim's brother and Naz, like, and Yui, the dad, he was Fords. Like, my dad had old, I think it was an XB station wagon. And it was
we had a HQ wagon. That was our family car.
But always, that's all I've owned is Fords. And it's just that Aussie thing. I think.
Totally, mate. I remember you would have, obviously you've been to Bathurst, so is that a yearly pilgrimage for you?
Yeah.
How many times have you been?
I think this is coming up to about probably 12 years.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Nice. Yeah, I remember it used to be just like every year watching on a TV.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Dick Johnson in the green XD. XE, big beast. Who was, and then was it Alan Grice had the Chickadee? Well, that might have been a few years before.
Yeah, it was Alan Grice. Yeah, he had the Chickadee Commodore.
Yeah, crazy.
And I think Kevin Bartlett had the Camaro, the Channel 9 one.
That
rolled.
Alan Moffat.
Yeah.
All the old crew. Did you ever meet Big Pete from the Cross? Big Pete, the tattooer.
Is that Blackwell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Well, give us a bit of...
I think that was... I met him... It was down Melbourne, I think. Did he used to own that tattoos?
No, Big Pete, he used to own Max's Village. It used to be Max and Pete's.
No.
He may have owned something in Melbourne. I couldn't say for sure.
I'm pretty sure like it was a expo or show down there one year, the PTAA show.
Because I know he was a mad Bathurst fan.
Yeah.
And apparently he had his ashes scattered up there on the mountain. So
cool.
Yeah.
I'll probably dump a few when it's my time.
Well, mate, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, why wouldn't you? Would have been to Summernats a few times?
No, I've never been.
Oh, mate, you've got to do it. Dude.
Yeah.
I've only been in the last 3 years. Mate, it's one of the best days ever.
Yeah.
Tattoos, cars, burnouts. Mate, loose units
Yeah.
everywhere. It's I think it's something only Australia can do.
Yeah.
You know, and we do it really well. So back to the conventions. What was one of the first conventions you went to?
The first one, I think it was PTAA one at
Yep.
Lansvale.
Yeah, okay.
And Trevor, I got a big food on the back of
Yep.
my thigh. And Geordie Cole, he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that's sort of when like really just opened the eyes. It was
Was Trev obviously open to you and giving you critique or anything? Or
yeah. Sort of after that, that's when like spoke to him about starting me back, and that's when he was still down. Baronia, that's outside Fern Tree Gully up that way.
Yeah, you used to get the train out there, and it was like a small shop out the back of a shops.
Yeah. So I went down. There was a convention down there, so I got the Fudo coloured there. Then drove out to the shop because I had a camper trailer.
Yep.
So we drove from there. Then I think it was the next day and went to the shop and outlined me back. It was the worst fucking thing I've ever done in my life. When he'd lay you over the old dentist chair.
That's right, and he used to be that like
swing it backwards so you'd lay on
early massage table.
Yeah.
And your legs, I remember my knees being sore because your knees would just be hanging like the opposite direction. They were sorer than the tattoo sometimes.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's when I think fucking Evan might have been starting, or Owen.
Maybe Owen, because Mick Hayes was there, and then Mick went and did his own thing.
Yeah.
But that was time.
Yes, that was sort of like another eye-opening experience. And that when I went to the Melbourne one and sort of got the Fudo colour, that's when he told me, like, "Oh, bring your photo album down." I just fucking shit me pants. And you're trying to get every best photo you've got. And then but like that advice that he gave me after that was like he just told me that shit.
Yep.
That's all right. Stop trying to do this, and where that just fucking took me to the
totally. And I think like I've heard stories of Trev making grown men and women cry.
Yeah.
Not deliberately.
Yep.
But just it's almost like a tough love.
Yeah.
He just doesn't mince his words and he doesn't waste his time or yours. Same thing for me. He gave me some good advice as well over the years. Yeah. But it's very daunting to offer yourself up to someone like that for critique. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're willing to listen, man, it's invaluable.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember when I first started getting tattooed by me, like, all right, you got 2 questions.
Yeah. Well, he was like, it was real daunting because he had that flat top and he's a big man.
Yeah. And like a presence.
Yeah.
Like a very, but like as you've got to know him and I've got to know him over this, he's actually got an amazing sense of humour.
Yeah.
But first impressions, you will think he's quite standoffish, but, it's the actual total difference. And, the impact he's had on Australian tattooing, especially Japanese tattooing, he's probably probably had Danny Robinson.
Yep.
But then I would say Trevor's like the first guy to take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah,
100%. Work with Paul Jeffries, with Henning, all that stuff. And, you can even see in your flash, there's that Paul Jeffries, Trevor sort of lineage with the colours, the scales, the line work, everything like that. And, it set the trend for a long time. Yeah. And so many people, you and I have benefited from Trev's time and advice, as have, Owen, Evan, so many, they were the early ones. Many other people have gone on, from there to do well from his guidance.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. He's still loving it.
Yeah.
He's
his
using
work
it.
It's still world class.
100%.
Like I looked at it like waiting to do this, and it was like a big Namakubi
on the
and
guy's
then
rib panels onto the leg.
Like,
Still rocking
holy
it out.
Fuck, man, that is just so good.
And adapting, you know, I think he's using the Bishop wand now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, him and Joel working together now and the other guys in the studio. It's like, I don't know, I always found, and it took me years to work this out or for it to click, you would always ask, oh, what are you using now? What are you using?
Yeah, yeah.
Doing this, doing that. But then you'd offer up all the info and get not much back.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but, you know, but then obviously helps in a lot of other ways.
Yeah.
So it's good. So, you know, all of that stuff, you're getting tattooed by Trev. Are you still out at Campbelltown? Like
Yeah.
the shop got changed? Like,
Yeah, still at Campbelltown. And
talk to us about this, because this sign, or talk to me in the timeline anyway, you ended up out of Campbelltown working in Glebe.
Yep.
How did all of that come about?
That was when the Olympics was on. So
2000?
yeah, like the end of '99.
Yep.
They said to me, like, you've done
Yep.
your part for us. We'll open this for you, and
Yep.
that can be yours. So I was like, holy shit. So we're looking around, and then
Show me that Olympic money.
Yeah, yeah. Then Glebe Point Road. So
Yep.
yeah, one opened up there, and we come in, check the shop out, and yeah, next minute I'm there. Yeah,
Nice.
got to take whoever I wanted, and
Yep.
yeah, and then that's the sign that we had up out the front.
What was its name? Same penetration.
Yeah, penetration 2. Yeah.
I'm going to try and find the card.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, like, and how long was that shop open for?
It was probably, I think, about 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what were you doing then? Like coming in every day?
Yeah, just training it in from out Campbelltown, and it was just easier to get a train rather than drive. And plus, I'm pretty sure I didn't have my license back then, so
Yep.
it was either run the gauntlet or get the train in. But then mates, getting tattooed, so I'd come in with mates, and then we'd end up going out after it, and it was just like pretty much a big party back then. And
What was the buzz around the city around that time when the Olympics were on?
yeah, it was pretty
Full on?
Yeah,
Like,
pretty.
were you tattooing a lot of tourists as well?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah, and that's when Tong, he first come over, and he come and hit me up for a job. And
Denholm?
no, Tong.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah, Super Tong.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so that's how we sort of
Yep.
become friends. And
So that's, early 2000s.
yeah, and then I met Duncan.
And Emil?
Yeah, yep. And that's when Duncan went to the first, I think, Tokyo or Japanese convention, and he ended up buying me like all the books and stuff when he come back, and he told me how he just sat there watching Philip Liu tattoo for
Like, mind blown.
yeah, and
Like, you lucky fucker.
yeah,
Actually, Duncan, I want to do a podcast with Duncan.
Yeah, yep.
I think it'd be
yeah,
really
that'd
cool.
be pretty cool.
Yeah. So then as well, like, were you like mixing with other tattoo shops then, or what was the deal? Where was the PTAA on the horizon then?
It's sort of like with me, probably around that time. That's when not still, knocking around with Kingy and stuff, go visit them, and that's when Scotty Orrick, he ended up getting me into the PTAA, and
Yep.
yeah, but I was probably like fucking 60 kilo.
Yeah, but you would have been tattooing for quite an amount of time, and good too.
But it was still like I'd go to the sleeve masters for the meetings, and I'm like this little fucking peanut sitting there with all these big fucking.
Totally, but it's like same for me. Like back then, who else was around your age tattooing?
No one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same as me. If me in Melbourne, it was Geordie Cole and Colin Gower.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Yep.
So we were like literally kids in this crazy man's world where everyone's easy 10 years older than you and psychos.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was like.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, then after that, it slowly changed. I just found this card. So I'll show it to you, then I'll show it to you. Did you draw that one?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, that's the one I. Yeah.
So this is like a real. Is that? Can you see that, Victor?
A little bit behind. Yes.
There we go. So penetration, 2 machines. You know, all the classic stuff you used to have. Autoclave, sterilization. Oh, cosmetic and realistic. Were you doing beauty spots back then?
Yeah.
Were you doing
Freckles.
lips, freckles, yeah. Eyeliners. Professional artists, 2 great locations. Parks. It says one was in Parks.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
when Fudge, he ended up like taking, because Tombstone took the Campbelltown one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
he went back to Parks, and
Yep.
yeah, I had the Sydney one. He had one
Nice.
at Parks, so
Nice.
but that didn't last that long. And
Yeah. What's that? Is it Parks where the dish is?
yeah,
Yeah.
and the Elvis, big
Oh,
Elvis.
mate. I'd love
frigging
to go
gig.
to that Elvis thing
Yeah.
one time.
Well, they
So
leave
good.
from Central.
I know.
Don't they?
Last year, I came to work one day and the train had just left. I was fucking gutted.
Yeah.
You know, I would have loved to have seen them all.
We should do it next year. I'll come with you.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. Mate, you take the XF and I'll take the VK.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
can like cruise in tandem. You know, dressed. I married a mate of mine. Well, him and his wife, they got married at the registry office.
Yep.
And then I married him that weekend dressed up as Elvis.
Oh yeah, cool.
In a park at in Coogee.
Oh yeah.
I did everything but the accent.
Yeah.
So let's talk machines a little bit because
Yep.
we're on the whole fudge thing.
Yep.
And we'll talk a little bit about how this came up. So I'm going to hand you a couple of machines, and then if you just put it to the camera. So what do you think that one is? And then Vitor will just get Puka to.
That one, Brett Stewart, the old skulls, and
So have you ever met Brett Stewart?
Yeah, I sold him all like I've got. I think it was 20 sheets of flash.
Yep.
And like give them to him. He reproduced them, and then he gave me. I think it was like $2,000 worth of tattoo
Nice.
equipment. So, but you could. He'd send you the template, and you could design your own machine.
Own
and-
frame.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Yep.
I was doing that as well.
Because
and-
aluminium frames.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did one like Jet Water.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
You
but-
still got it?
Nah. I think
Mate.
I cut it down because it ended up looking like shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was. But yeah, I've still got some of these ones floating around home somewhere.
Because Brett was pretty much what I know, like back then, the guy that you could only get shit from.
Yeah.
Maybe Rolf as well.
Yeah.
That's give us that bad boy back, please.
Yeah.
And then that one there, I think that's one of Fudge's old machines.
That one
And they're Rolf machines.
the white one, yeah.
But if you look at them, they're probably around a similar era.
Yeah.
Like Rolf's are of a higher standard and would run a lot better. Like to tune an aluminium machine, you really have to know your stuff, you know. So how did you? I'm going to go back to it. How did you ever meet Brett Stewart?
I think it was one of the Melbourne
Yep.
shows down there. Yeah. That's when I think he come in with Beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They both had the big friggin'
Yep.
Ned Kelly beards.
Yep.
Looking like a couple of Bushmen. So.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. With Rolf, you would have come a lot across Rolf.
Well, that
Over
was
the years?
through Kingy as well, and
Yep.
Carl, he used to do a little bit
Yep.
at the Campbelltown shop as well, and
Right.
yeah, so that sort of met. I think I met Carl first,
Yep.
and seen his machines and Fudge's ones, and then I
Yep.
got a set made through Rolf, and sort of went from there.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, they're good. They're like, I think apart from that, like I only found out years later that through friendship with Greg that, you know, later on I found out about Wally Hammond. I found out about Bob Wood, all this sort of stuff.
Yep.
But they were building machines as well. But
Oh yeah.
if you weren't in the know back in the day, like fuck, man,
Yeah.
you had no hope.
Yeah.
You know. So
I think one of my first machines was like a Spalding kit.
Yep.
We sent over to America, and back then you had to wait like friggin', I think it was like near 6 months
Yeah, like
for it to-
write a letter,
Yeah.
wait
And
for it to
then
come
got
back.
the old toaster box.
Yep.
Looking friggin' power unit.
Yep.
And, yeah, it was wild. You get a few of the skull
Yep.
design sheets with it. Yeah, a couple, I think 4 basic colours.
Yep. Yeah, it was good. I think Spalding was some of the first people ever do pre-made needles as well. You could buy them.
Yeah.
You know, it's mental to think how
Yeah.
it changed. I remember working at Innovision, and Keen and I used to make our needles every morning. You know, bit of hot water, bicarb soda.
Yeah.
Off we go.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember Cliff going, "Oh, go, you fucking losers, get with the times." I'm like, hey, what are you talking about? And we'd have like John Jane's Serpentine number 12 needles from the UK. So much pride in what we're doing. And he'd go, "Oh, want to see me make some needles?" And we're thinking, "Oh, wow, we're going to be gifted this special trick from Cliff that worked with the Dutchman, Harry Merry. Is he going to give us this little bit of magical info?" And then he'd pick up the phone and go, "Hey, Michael, I want 4 boxes of this, 4 boxes of that." And then the Chinese guy rocks up with these plain packaged boxes. Here you go, $30 each.
Wow.
You're like, fuck, really? You know? So
Yeah, we used to get our pins. That's with when I'd have to order through, like make the order through, I think it was Melbourne Entomological Supplies.
the bug pins.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you just have to cut the little
Yep.
nylon ball off the back and
Try and get them all the same size. Yep.
make magnums like with your thumbnail and
Yep.
get them curved and
Yep.
get the old razor blade intertwined, solder.
Mate, yeah, it's a different, like, well, I think that's when as well, like a lot of the time was taken up with the mechanical side and the upkeep of your tattoo machines. You know, like back then, you would have sterilised everything yourself, scrubbed your own tubes yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
And
there's no shop helper to
mixing,
do it.
Sit there with a friggin'
Yeah.
blender, like bottle of vodka,
Yep.
one colour, just
One
sit
for
there.
me,
Yeah.
one for you.
Yeah, just sit there for friggin' an hour, just blending it all up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's different. But, you know, now I think as well, like, you know, we were talking before, like, you know, you're always changing. We're both changing, trying to be as progressive as we can. What was that new machine you just got?
the FK irons,
Yeah.
one of the pens.
Yeah, like, what are you lining with these days? Carts or?
Nah, still, got FK. Got a few different
Yep.
coils, but like larger stuff I'll still outline
Yep.
with coils and just get the pens or the cash machine out for
Yep.
shade and colour pack.
It's a beast, that one.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when you guested here, I saw that. I was like, fuck. You know, I bought a bunch of them.
Yeah, they're just like, even if you don't use them, you go back to it. It's like, fuck, this is good.
Yeah, just easy.
Yeah.
Did you come across Chris Cashmore back in the day in the cross and stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
When he was young, I remember him. I think it was at friggin' Max's
Yep.
shop, and he was standing out the front with the blacked out like knuckles. And,
Yep. Yeah, he was like the single was like,
yeah.
mate, this fucking dude straight out of prison or something.
Well, I dropped in and seen him. I went down Canberra last weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, with the kids down the snow and the wife, and
Awesome.
called in and seen him. And
Nice. Still tattooing, mate.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
doing his thing. Loves
Yeah.
his cars. Loves his Fords.
Yeah.
Get any parts?
No, you won't fucking part with nothing. I was even dropping hints like, I need a 9-inch. He's like,
Yep.
nah,
I
man,
don't
I'm
know.
looking for one too. It's like,
Of course.
come on.
Another
mate.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, that's like, I think a lot of tattooers of our generation were like into cars and just collecting shit.
Yeah.
You know, like just part of it.
Yeah.
Part of it. So I know we touched on Brano before. Like, you got tattooed by Brano a couple of years before he passed.
Yeah. It was nearly near one of his last tattoos.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he done me 20-year
Yep.
anniversary tattoo and
Which was?
a big skull and jet water and
awesome.
he wrote 20 years on the
Nice.
side boob for me. And
Where'd he do that for you?
he was doing a couple out at Picton.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went out and ended up like getting tattooed and then
Because he's right into the Beatniks and
then
Sash and all that crew.
me and the wife went out with Paul to
Yep.
the pub and had dinner and a catch up with him. And
Yeah.
but before that, I met him. Went for a holiday with the kids up to
Yep.
Surface and took me flash up there and walked into Skin FX, and I was fucking shitting
Yeah,
myself.
yeah,
and
yeah, yep.
He's like, "Oh, what do you want, mate?" And I went, Robin, his
Yep.
wife, and so I ended up talking to Paul, and then he's like, "Oh, come and see me tomorrow." I think what was Crossfire? Was that the one in the alleyway?
Yeah, no, that was Tattoo Works.
Yeah, yep. So I went, seen him the next day there,
Yep.
and told me, like, bring that flash so I
Yep.
can have a look. And yeah, took it in. He's like, "Oh, I want to buy it." And I was
Nice.
like, "Oh, bullshit."
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
fucking,
yeah.
you want my flash?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I went and got it all copied, and he gave me, I think it was like $300 or something back then, and I was
On top of the world.
Yeah.
But they're like crazy magical moments, I think, for us and our generation that, they're just like crazy moments in your career that, because I think we held and, still do hold our elders in such high esteem. So, and because it was so not as accessible as it is today, like you couldn't slide into anyone's DMs or that sort of stuff. So for someone to take time in you, talk to you, encourage you, all that sort of stuff, they were like the little moments that kicked you to the next level, So, I've got a lot of great memories like that, as you would as well, that, you just cherish. So, but he's a good man, Paul, that's for sure. And, again, same thing, like Trevor has helped so many people, helped raise the level of tattooing as well. So it's good. So back to Nelson, another person that we both hold in high regard. When did you end up working with Nelson again? And then talk us through that up until where you are today.
I ended up going down Wollongong, like penetration ended up Tombstone, Tombstone ended up Yakuza.
I'm just going to go back. Tell me the funny story when you were at penetration and you had your feet up on the counter and some dude called up.
I think it was freaking Highway 61.
So what, you're just in there and you just...
Yeah, just
But back then it's crazy, like the sound of a Harley back then maybe meant more to the general public than the sound of a Harley now.
Yeah.
Because only badasses rode Harleys then.
Oh, this dude was a badass. So I'm just kicking back with my feet up on the counter, looking out the window. Bike pulls up out the front, and when mobile phones.
On the street or on the footpath?
Yeah, no, on the street. He just stopped traffic.
Yep.
And he's just looking at me, and then he's rung the shop because I had the number.
On the big brick?
Yeah, and he's like, who fucking looks after you? I was like, what do you mean, mate? Who looks after me? I was like, your fucking mum.
Oh.
He's like, don't you? And I can just see I'm lip reading this dude as well.
Yep.
He's like, don't be a fucking smart ass. Who looks after you? And I was like, oh, why? Who's this? He's like, fucking, I'm out the front. Like, who looks after you?
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's what you mean. I was like, oh.
The cheeky pucker, I know.
I was like, oh, Fudge. Well, Fudge and who else was it? I think Gino back then. He's like, well, what club are they? And I was like, oh, Rebels. And that's when he went, oh, okay, no worries.
Yep.
And just hung up and fucking rode off. Yeah. I was like, holy fuck, what just happened?
Yeah. Just another day in a tuck shop in the 90s.
But getting back to Nelson, shop got palmed off again to Yakuza, and then opened one in Wollongong, so I went down there. Lance Daly, he was down there. Me and him sort of got that up and running. Cool. Loz, she's now at Lighthouse.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so then he got the Campbelltown one opened one at Narellan, and that's when Nelson sort of come out of the woodwork, and he went to the Narellan one, so we were all working for the same mob, and we rekindled everything again, and then after they all sort of went to shit since the licensing, and clubs couldn't own them. So we ended up, Nelson was doing a bit at home, and I just went there, and
was that the start of Solid Forge?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And he had like his big double garage, like it was all done professionally, and pardon me, it was all registered and stuff. We used to get like coppers coming there, get tattooed. And that's, we did 2 years there, and then we opened up the shop, and his son Alex,
going gangbusters.
Yeah.
Was Alex apprenticing then, or
No,
already
he was
tattooing?
at Yakuza.
Yep.
And then there was like same owner, but he tried tricking the public, opened different names, so it was called Ink House.
Yep.
Yeah, so me and Alex were there with Marty, Martin Creek. He's at Ocean Ink now. He was another apprentice of mine. And
you've taught a lot of people to tattoo. You and Nelson collectively over the years. A lot of good people, man.
Yeah.
Credit to you both.
Yeah, old Benno, he's another one down Canberra.
Yep.
Old rat bag.
Yep. Amazing golfer.
Yeah.
Herbalist.
Yeah, herbalist. Connoisseur.
So, yeah, it was good seeing him at your wedding, man.
Yeah,
it was a good turnout. It was good times. Yeah. So, yeah, you recently got married.
Married, in April,
Officially, Mr. and Mrs. Puka.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together for? A long time.
Yeah, around 15
Latoya,
years.
like 15 years? Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I'd be stuffed without her. And
Yeah, likewise.
yeah,
Like, it's I think, hard life for a tattooist wife as well,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was great to be there. It was a good turnout, man. It's where I first met Al sitting on the table.
Yep.
Because I obviously heard of Al for such a long time, and mate, what a ledge.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, really.
He's good value. You love him to death.
Yep. What am I going to say? Any crazy? You told me before a good PTAA story of the cross when you got signed up.
When they all, like, I don't know what they did, but everyone used to go out the back for some unknown reason.
Maybe they were going out the back to talk in private.
Yeah, I think that was, the
maybe just to discuss potential.
non-members stay at the front.
Exactly. And, like quite thoughtful guys.
Yeah.
Because normally you would tell the non-members to leave.
Yeah.
But they obviously respected you guys so much they would go out the back.
Yeah. And then come back in like quite energised and
Right. Well,
but Max, he walked back in, and then they used to have a wooden beam sort of in that middle part. You'd walk sort of up and then out. Yeah, and like he's a big man, so I think he misjudged sort of how high, and he's knocked the top of his head, and then it was like a friggin' old sardine sort of can, like the skin rolled back and the fucking blood everywhere. Didn't even bat an eyelid.
Old school.
Yeah.
Old school. Man, what a ledge Max is, hey?
Yeah.
So you've just been getting tattooed a lot. Let's walk through. We touched on some other stuff.
Yep.
Trev's tattooed ya. Like, I've been fortunate to tattoo ya. Yep. Who else have you? I know recently you've been getting a bunch of stuff done over the last few years.
Yaki Soba, Blake Santos, he's at Golden Tusk. Cole Dawson.
Yep.
Yeah, Yoshio, William Brown.
Yep, recently did your head.
Yep. Like Insomnia from Melbourne.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
A good collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good collection. Let me find my little thing, mate. Any shout-outs? You want to give any shout-outs to anyone?
Thank yourself for being a part of me career and
good
mates that we are now.
Totally.
Big one to Trev for giving me that kick up the freckle from day one. And
all right, so what's life for you outside of tattooing? Obviously family.
Yeah, got kids, five girls, a little grandson now, and just don't really get time to do much
your plate's
at all.
full, man, isn't it? Yeah. But when you do get the chance, I know your birthday's on the horizon.
Yeah.
It could be a karaoke session and a nice dinner in the city.
Karaoke with yourself and coming in to see you guys and go out for dinner and a little bit of a throat cleanser on the microphone.
Totally, mate, totally.
Yeah.
So this is a new thing. I'm going to start with you. Like, I want to start asking, because obviously we've spoken about your influences through the beginning up until now, you know, who you've been tattooed by. Like, who are some of your, it's definitely not your top 5, but even if you can only get to 2 or 3, some of the, doesn't even have to be in Australia.
Yep.
Some tattooers that like really inspire you. Oh, I'm going to cut this or come back or whatever, but you're a mad all-rounder.
Yep.
Like, which is rare these days. Like, I was an all-rounder as well, and I'm lucky to just do what I'm doing now. You can do a portrait. You can do a fucking amazing black and grey realism, amazing Japanese stuff. Turn your hand to anything. What do you put that down to?
I think, yeah, pretty much like Al. That's
Yeah.
when I was starting. He's like, try not to get stuck in
Yep.
one thing. Like, pick something you do like, but
Yep.
then also, you know, throw yourself into other stuff. So you'll always have work. You
Yep.
won't, be caught up in that.
Yep.
Where especially out west, like, you know, they want everything like that.
Yeah.
You know, Chicano shit's in now, and
Yep.
where that's what I teach my, you know, apprentices. Like Alex,
Yep.
he's pretty much the same, and he can do a portrait and
Yep.
like realistic, animals and shit, and then
Yep.
like kills are the traditional tattoos. So,
Yep.
but then like my traditional stuff, it's like, oh, fucking,
Yep.
where that's good to see he's got that, where I can do, like, I like doing Japanese, so, but
Yep.
then, still can do other things, and
Yep.
if have to, so, like this week, done 2 dog portraits, where
Yeah.
haven't done that in fucking forever.
Mate, it looks like you do them every week.
Yeah.
Fucking killed it.
But you're still lucky you shit yourself, but
Yep.
I think that's good to still have that
Yep.
fear in you.
Yeah, rather than just getting blasé
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's when your work can drop off a
Yeah.
bit, you know. So back to that, I was going. So it's hard to say, like, who are some of your, maybe this might make it easier. Who, if you could get, who's 3 people on your hit list that you want to get tattooed by anywhere in the world?
Philip Liu,
Yep.
number 1. Probably Paul Booth. Wouldn't
Yeah.
mind,
Yep.
just from growing up
Yep.
with his
2
stuff.
big
and-
names from our generation
Yeah.
that changed it. Like Philip changed it. Like Philip was an all-rounder.
Yeah.
Philip was doing colour portraits.
Yeah.
Fucking back in the 90s. Everything. You know, but now had his big influence, Oriental, Japanese style. Paul Booth, the master of fucking craziness.
Yeah.
Of fucking maggots coming out of faces and stitched up eyes and all that sort of craziness. But phenomenal.
Yeah. And probably Henning. He'd be,
Nice.
just
Really
from-
cool.
Yeah. They'd
Yeah,
be
really
the
good.
me top 3 though.
And you know what? Those 3 names were huge and are still huge.
Yep.
They were huge when we were beginning,
Yep.
you know. So it is interesting to, you know, you see influences like, you know, how it just, you get maybe, I don't know, that's who we were able to be exposed to. There were still great tattooers out there, but because of magazines, it was the only ones that we sort of
Yeah.
got to see regularly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, really cool. Really cool. Mate, awesome. 3rd time lucky.
Yeah.
We got there. Thanks for coming in, man. Like, it's
No.
always a pleasure to see you. You've had an amazing career. You got plenty more fuel left in the tank.
Yeah.
You know, like the thing that I love as well is like you're just covering dudes out west.
Yeah.
Covering them, man. Like at your wedding, so many dudes stripped off
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
bodysuits.
Yeah.
It's like wild. And people just up for it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
That's cool.
may the bodysuit live on forever. And may
100%.
you and I both do plenty more
Yeah.
until, you know, we hang up our guns.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, mate. Love
No,
ya.
Thank you. Love you too, buddy.
All right. See you Saturday night at Covent Garden,
Yeah.
Covent Garden Hotel.
Be there.
Yep. Awesome.